Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict. It's not my real name. That is a secret code name that I came up. No, I'm just kidding. It's a pen name that I use in my sober newsletter, LOL Sober. Let me ask you an existential question. How do you define cool? Who's cool? What makes them cool? Is it even cool anymore to use the word cool? I don't know. I asked because I was thinking back recently on a conversation I had maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was a while ago, and it was at the playground at one of my kids' schools. And I remember some parents were talking about another mom and dad, and they were oohing and ahhing about how cool these people were. And at first, I thought they were saying that the kid was cool, but no, it turns out they were talking about the mom and the dad, not the kid. And I I knew the people they were talking about, and I realized two important things. One is I hadn't ever even thought about who the coolest parents were at the school. It had never crossed my mind. And secondly, if I had, well, let's just say the parents that were being discussed would not have been my picks. So regarding the first thought, it struck me as the first time in my life that I hadn't already carefully come up with cool rankings. And that that meant for the first time it dawned on me that I hadn't curated a list of cool people and then gone out of my way to cozy up with the cool kids. And wow, that seems like such a minor thing, but what a gift for somebody like me. I don't miss keeping that list at all. And I'll come back to that in 1 minute. Regarding the second point about these particular parents, they're nice people. Not my cup of tea, though. I don't dislike them. I say hi to them. They say hi to me. They seem perfectly fine. They're just not for me. And there's a lot of like bragging and gossiping and clout chasing and discussions of who has the bigger house, and I just choose not to be a part of that crap anymore. And they know they're the cool parents, and they're trying to live up to the hype. And hey, you do you. But for me, no thanks. I'm not rooting against them. It's just not what I'm looking for. So go for it. Knock yourself out. So that got me thinking, like, what am I looking for? Who is cool to me these days? And I hadn't ever thought about it like that before. But I did flash back to early recovery, because I didn't always, even in sobriety, I didn't always feel like I do now. Because even without drugs and alcohol in the picture, I wanted to be among the cool kids in recovery when I first got clean and sober. And I went to rehab when I was 32 years old, and I remember meeting a group of mid-20s young people, and they were young and sober and smoking cigarettes and going to movies together and talking about social media that I didn't know what it even was. And so, I mean, they were a little wild still, even though they weren't drinking. And I remember thinking, these are who I want to hang out with. They're cool. Even when I was looking for my first sponsor, I asked the guy in really expensive looking clothing who was chairing the meeting, and I thought he must be the most popular guy in sobriety. So obviously we should work together. Luckily, that dude was an awesome sponsor, and he wasn't the most prom king dude in recovery, and he wasn't trying to be. He really emphasized to me that, he was just another bozo on the bus. And he said that I should build a network of sober people and beyond him, and it should be people who have what I want. And that quote has stuck with me for a long time. Who are the people who have what I want? I was a married 32-year-old who didn't smoke and wasn't on Twitter. Did I really want what those single 20s people had? So for the first time in my life, I reevaluated what cool means and what my relationship to it was. And what I discovered was I'd been chasing cool people my whole life. And usually they weren't the people that I thought were actually cool. They were the people who I thought other people thought were cool. It's a little like, it's like dating someone who you're not attracted to, but everybody else thinks is attractive. Or taking a job that everybody else is impressed by, and you just want to be able to have that social currency. And like, that doesn't, how does that usually work out? Not well. So I'm proud to say I now have a good definition of what cool is. I have a definition of cool that works for me, and it has nothing to do with the surface level stuff. I have friends who have money and friends who don't. I have friends who I don't even know what kind of money they have. I don't care. I have friends who seem popular and some who might not be. I don't really freaking care. I think they're cool. They're beautiful people inside and out. I should say, just to be completely honest, that used to be a big one for me. I always wanted to hang out with the hotties, man. Men, women, anybody. Because I didn't feel like a good-looking person myself, so I thought maybe I'll just hang out with good-looking people. That'll take care of my insecurity. So, most of my friends these days, they're all trying to stay sober. They all live by principles that I want to live by too. They're people who look at their side of the street on a daily basis. They're people who are trying to understand rather than be understood. They're people who lean toward love as much as humanly possible. That's cool. Are they cool by society standards? I think so. Are they cool by my standards? They absolutely are, and that is cool with me. So thank you so much for letting me share.